welcome back to channel. So today let us start with histology of cardiovascular system. So we know what is the main function of cardiovascular system. It is nothing but a transport system which transports mainly the nutrients, WBC, white blood cells, hormones, other everything to tissues, and also take away the waste from them. So it is actually a closed circulation. We know our cardiovascular system is closed circulation and contains a heart. And let us see we have atrioventricular valves, also known as input valves, that is nothing but our mitral valve and tricuspid valve, and we have output valves which are nothing but pulmonary valve and the aortic valve. So first let us understand the basic structure of heart. So we know heart, it has first let us see on right side, right atrium, right ventricle, and here we have pulmonary artery, and here you have left ventricle, left atrium, left ventricle, and here we have the mitral valve, and here we have tricuspid valve. On left side we have mitral valve, on right side we have the tricuspid valve. So the tricuspid valve and mitral valve are nothing but known as atrioventricular valves, because between the atria and the ventricle, are also known as input valves because blood from here comes like this, that is input valves. And output valves are nothing but aortic valve. Here you can see this is the aorta, output to the systemic circulation to all parts of the body. And pulmonary valve, we also know here we have the pulmonary valve which goes into the lungs. So these are the output valves. And next you can see this is the superior vena cava, this is the inferior vena cava, and here we have our aorta, and aorta which is supplying our aorta which is going to systemic circulation, and pulmonary circulation which is going to our lungs. So let us see, between right heart and left heart we have our pulmonary circulation. So this is our right heart, and between the right heart this is the right heart, between the right heart and left heart. Why we are saying like this? Because from right atrium blood goes into right ventricle, from there into pulmonary artery, from there into lungs, and in lungs we have our capillaries. So capillaries, blood exchange between the oxygen and carbon dioxide, and from there it enters into the left atrium by 4 pulmonary veins. So we know in pulmonary veins it carries oxygenated blood. So from pulmonary veins it enters into left atrium, and from left atrium into left ventricle. So it is nothing but the circulation between the right heart and the left heart. This is known as pulmonary circulation. So once again let us revise. From pulmonary artery to pulmonary capillaries, carbon dioxide is lost and oxygen is gained, and the oxygen blood go into the left heart by left atrium. So this is by pulmonary veins. So this is nothing but our pulmonary circulation between right and left heart. Now let us understand about the left heart and right heart circulation. So between the left heart and right heart we have the systemic circulation. That is how from left atrium to left ventricle, from left ventricle to aorta, from aorta to all veins, all vessels of the body, all arteries, and next into capillaries exchange. So like this, between left heart and right heart we have our systemic circulation. Between right heart and left heart we have our pulmonary circulation. So the large systemic arteries are nothing but our aorta, large arteries, carotid, iliac. So all these are large systemic arteries which are greater than 1 centimeter in diameter, or also known as elastic arteries. And next, medium size arteries. So this artery further divide into medium size or muscular, or also known as named arteries. So most of the named arteries are medium size arteries. They are also known as muscular arteries, and they size up to 2 to 10 millimeter. And next we have the arterioles. So this medium size further divide into arterioles, and they are 0.1 to 2 millimeter. And next we have our meta arterioles. So from medium size to arterioles to meta arterioles, and meta arterioles to form capillaries, and capillaries further divide to form means they enter into venous system. That is exchange between the blood. First in the capillaries, there is exchange going on between the tissues and capillaries in the capillaries. And next here it continues into venous side by first entering into venules, and next into small veins, large veins, that is nothing but our SVC and IVC, and finally reaching to the right heart. So this is nothing but also known as systemic circulation, because it is taking place between left heart and right heart. Now let us see pulmonary circulation. So pulmonary circulation is mainly related to lungs. It is smaller type of circulation, and it is low pressure circulation, and also it is carrying the deoxygenated blood, and that is arteries are carrying the deoxygenated blood and veins are carrying the oxygenated blood in the case of pulmonary circulation. But in systemic circulation it is present in all parts of our body, and it is a larger circulation and the pressure is increased in the circulation, and the systemic artery is oxygenated and vein is deoxygenated in the case of systemic circulation. Now let us see first what happens is arteries enter into the GIT where they form the capillaries, and that capillaries in turn form the vein, and we know this vein, and vein reach the liver. So next the liver again it forms the capillaries. So you can see there is 2 times capillaries. Actually the normal flow is artery going into GIT form capillaries, veins, that's it. So vein should go into heart now. But here what happens, heart in the case of circulation, but here vein is going to liver, and after going to liver again it is turning to be capillaries, and again the capillaries into vein, and vein draining into the cable system. So it is like two times the capillaries are forming between veins. So this is draining into finally cable system, that is our inferior vena cava or superior vena cava. In this case it drains into inferior vena cava. So this is actually a modified system, that is between 2 capillaries there is 1 vein, right? See here, capillaries, one vein. So this kind of system is known as portal circulation, that is it takes place in the liver and kidney. So liver and kidney have portal circulation. So let us understand the portal circulation in kidney. Now we have got about liver. So in kidney what happens is the renal artery first, that is a efferent arteriole, forms the capillaries, that is the glomerular capillaries, and the glomerular capillaries again forms into efferent arteriole. Actually first arteriole, capillaries, next should be vein, but here the order is missing, that is 2 times arteriole is coming, and next again the capillaries are formed, that is the peritubular capillaries, and next they drain into vein, that vein drains into the cable system by a renal vein. So this is also another kind of portal system which is taking place in our kidney. And now let us see the artery. So artery, all cardiovascular cells are lined by the flat squamous, that is simple squamous epithelium. We know that is arteries, all cardiovascular cells are lined by flat squamous cells, that is nothing but endothelial cells. So we know every vessel or every artery has endothelial cell in it. For example, this like this we have endothelium cells, yes. So these are nothing but the simple flat squamous cells, and they are around the collagen. Now let us understand about the structure of an artery in a histological pattern. So first we have our endothelial cells which are on the basement membrane or also known as basal lamina, and after the basal lamina we have the subendothelial connective tissue. So first we have endothelial cells inside, next outer basal lamina, next after we have subendothelial connective tissue also known as loose connective tissue, and next we have our internal elastic lamina or membrane, and next we have smooth muscles which are 30 to 40 in number, and next we have our collagen fibers which are mainly secreted by the smooth muscle, and also glycosaminoglycans, and next we have the external elastic lamina, and also some nerves are present. And next we are having outer collagen nerves, fibroblasts, sympathetic nerves are present, lymphatics, vasa vasorum, and also may group into media. So these are the structures which are arranged. It looks like a cake for me. So these are the structures which are arranged line by line. So now let us understand the parts. So the endothelial cells, basal lamina, subendothelial connective tissue, and the internal elastic lamina all together form the intima. Intima is nothing but the innermost layer of a blood vessel. So every blood vessel having a intima, innermost vessel, especially arteries, then it is known as intima. So intima contains our endothelial cells, basal lamina, loose connective tissue or subendothelial connective tissue, and also internal elastic lamina. So here completes intima. So next media. What is media containing? It is containing mainly smooth muscles, collagen fibers, and also the external elastic lamina, some nerves, and also glycosaminoglycans. So this is a middlemost layer, that is the media, and outermost layer is nothing but adventitia. So adventitia contains collagen, nerves, fibroblasts, sympathetic nerves, lymphatics, vasa vasorum. So actually vasa vasorum is a blood vessel which supplies the adventitia and also up to the outer border of our media. So it is seen in media and also in large arteries. So by this we complete our histology of an artery and its structures. Now let us check out about heart. So we know heart actually has main three layers: the outer pericardium, middle myocardium, and the innermost is the endocardium. So let us check out one by one. So the outer lining is the pericardium, and valves are present which are mainly made up of fibrous connective tissue, and the middle lining is nothing but myocardium, which is the main muscular layer. So the main muscular layer is nothing but the myocardium, which is separated by it is separated at the atrium and ventricle by a fibrous tissue. For example, so this is the middle myocardium. If you think, it is separated at the atrioventricular junction over here. Next we have our inner endocardium. It is more like intima and also continuous with the intima of the vessels, as we have discussed just now about intima. So the endocardium is just continuous with the intima of our vessels, that is our IVC, that is inferior vena cava, superior vena cava, and also aorta, that is large vessels. Now let us see the myocardium. So myocardium in the left ventricle is the thickest. Remember, myocardium of the left ventricle is thickest because left ventricle need to pump more, and it's playing a major role. So the myocardium is of left ventricle is thickest, and it is inserted in a fibrous skeleton of heart. So what is a fibrous skeleton? You can say this is a fibrous skeleton of heart, to which actually the atrium ventricle are mounted upon. So this is a fibrous skeleton of heart, and the fibrous skeleton of heart is made up of dense irregular connective tissue. Now let us check out some important functions of this fibrous skeleton. It nothing but provides the attachment for the valve leaflets, and also that is atrial and ventricular myocardium. And it is a base for the major arteries, and also electrical insulating between the atrium and the ventricle. And the atrial myocardium is in direct contact with the septa. And everything have a gap junctions, that is nothing but forming an electrical every atrial myocardium have a gap junction, that is nothing but forming an electrical syncytium. And the rhythm of the right and left heart are also maintained because of conduction pathways. We are going to see it for future. Next, SA node. SA node is known as pacemaker because it is electrically stimulated by itself automatically. It shows a property known as automaticity. So atria is filled only then the ventricle should contract after filling of the atria. So AV node continues with the bundle of His, and it slow down the conduction and hold the current for 0.1 second, and next it is released to the bundle of head, and next the ventricles contracts. So actually AV node, why it holds the current? Because first the atria should contract, so after atrial contraction only the ventricles should contract. So to follow that, AV node stops the current for the 0.1 second. This is nothing but the rhythm of the right heart is actually equal to the rhythm of the left heart. So SA node actually is present over here. Next AV node is present over here. And next here is the bundle of His, and which contains the Purkinje cells, and next is shoot out fibers, which are nothing but known as Purkinje fibers. So this is a conduction pathway starting from the SA node to the AV node. Next to the bundle of it, that is the right and left bundle branches, and next to the Purkinje fibers. So this is how an electrical impulse is passed in a heart. So next you have completed. Now let us see the endocardium. So endocardium is nothing but you can see the structure here. We are having endothelial cells, again some endothelium connective tissue, and also we are having a endocardium. So endocardium mainly. So endocardium is supplied by nerves, and it also has some veins, and there is a special conduction system. So here you can see inside to outside of Purkinje cells. So first we have endothelium, next this is the myocardium, and next we have the pericardium. Myocardium is in the middle, is the endocardium. So valves we have mitral valve and tricuspid valves. Both are formed from the endocardium. These are mitral valve is larger, and tricuspid valve is, both valves are larger and thin. Valves are formed by endothelial lining, and these are not vascularized normally. Only at the base they have the vessels, and you can see the valves are having a spongiosal layer, which is spongy, that reduce the vibrations. It is made up of loose connective tissue. It is made on the atrial side and has also elastic fibers. And you can see this is the endothelial line. So this is how a valve looks. So both these valves are not vascularized and they are very large and they are thin. So what happens in rheumatic fever is nothing but the infection of Streptococcus beta hemolyticus Lancefield group A. So it is acquired type, first time sore throat. So first the antigen is processed by an immune system and the antibody attacks. In 3% the antigen is similar to the antigen of a connective tissue of the body. So the own connective tissue is affected by the antibody. So next nodules are formed in the children in the age of 5 to 15 years. Next, what happens, there is molecular mimicry taking place. So what happens, our body thinks our own connective tissue as an antigen and starts cross reacting, and it leads to polyarthritis, lesions, chorea and also nodules. So infective endocarditis is nothing but the vegetations are formed in the wall due to inflammation. So next, the scar is formed and repeated fever may lead to deformity of the valve, and there is a fish mouth deformity of the mitral valve and it becomes stenotic. So this is about this, and valve ruptures and leads to cardiac failure, and also scars are formed and the valve is deformed. So now let us see the atrial valve and the aortic valve and pulmonary valve. The small valves, that is the outlet valves, are small, the inlet valves are large. Outlet valves are small valves, and chorda, tendency, papillary muscles are present to prevent the regurgitation of the valve from the myocardial insert to the papillary, insert to the chorda tendency, and keeps the valves intact, and also prevent the regurgitation of the valve. And the mitral valve prolapse go to the left. So whenever the mitral valve is prolapsing, it goes into the left atrium, and in infective endocarditis it is acute, and near the area of papillary muscle, the edema, you can see pulmonary edema and also dyspnea. So what happens is, whenever the mitral valve regurgitates, the blood goes to left atrium, and from there it goes back, that is into the pulmonary circulation, and leads to pulmonary and also edema and also dyspnea, that is difficulty in breathing. So now let us see the myocardium. So myocardium is divided into specialized and general. So in general, we have atrium, ventricle, and in specialized myocardium there are electrical properties, that is which contains SA node, 60 to 100 impulses, AV node and also conduction pathway, and also endocrine cells, that is natriuretic peptide hormone. So whenever this hormone is released, it decreases the renin, and whenever this is decreased, increase in the blood volume. So what happens is, actually why ANP is released when the atria stretch out, when venous return is more, so in the atria there is lot of blood, so that what happens, atria gets stretched. So whenever atria stretch, it releases ANP, so that there is increase in the blood volume, then increase in the venous return, and atria stretch, release the ANP. So what happens in kidney constrict different arteriole, and especially in the medullary part. What happens, the sodium and water retention is increased and increase in the urine. So sodium and water are excreted out because of increase in GFR and also increase in fluid. So that leads to natriuresis and also diuresis, because lot of urine is getting out and also with lot of sodium. It is known as natriuresis. Natriuretic peptide is released. It decreases the renin from the kidney. So what happens is, angiotensin 2 converting into angiotensin 1 decreases in the lungs, and as well as angiotensin 2 decreases in the blood. So what happens, tension in the blood is decreased and vessel gets dilated. So the venous return to the blood is also decreased. So now what happens, aldosterone is decreased, sodium and water reabsorption is decreased, so it is released in the urine. So whenever ANP is released, even the ADH, that is antidiuretic hormone, is also decreased, that is extra water loss, sodium and water get out of the body. So normal function of the ADH is nothing but antidiuresis, that is it prevent the diuresis, that is extra water getting out from the urine, that it gets reduced, that is antidiuresis is a property of ADH normally, but here in this case, as the ADH is decreased, so extra water is lost to the urine, especially sodium is also lost to the urine. So what happens in normal of ADH is it reabsorbs the water. So now as ANP is release, ADH decrease, so increase in urine with the increase in water and increase in sodium. So normal aldosterone function is increased sodium and water reabsorption. So as here ANP is released and aldosterone is decreased, so sodium and water reabsorption decreases, so thereby increase in sodium and water in the urine. So now let us see here. So SA node is situated near to the SVC, that is superior vena cava and also right atrium, and it produces the action potential without the external impulse. So it is also known as pacemaker, that is automaticity. With a 16 to 100 impulse it can form. And you can say this is the Batchman bundle which carries the impulse from the right atrium to the left atrium, that is nothing but the Batchman's bundle. And you can see this is the AV node, this is the bundle of His, and this is the conduction pathway. So some of the myocardial cells are specialized for the impulse generation, that is nothing but SA, AV and conduction pathway. So SA node has a unique cells which produce the action potential without any impulse and produce the automaticity. And second is the internodal pathway. You can see some lines here. This is the internodal pathway. It is divided into anterior internodal pathway and posterior internodal pathway. So the posterior 1.5 meter per second. So it is a specialized myocardium. Next, the cells of AV node. Between the atria and ventricle, you can say this is the cells of AV node, which are very small cells, are arranged against the current flow, and they have very few gap junctions, and their RMP is -60. So sodium and calcium go to the cell very slow. So current pass slowly until the atrial contraction completes. So current pass by the right and left bundle branch, and next both ventricles contract fast. So due to the why in the Purkinje and bundle of His the cells are fastest? Due to the last cells and they along the current pathway and also have wide diameter, and they have increased gap junction, that is bigger gap junctions. So the fast conduction takes place, and it is made up of Purkinje cells, and their offshoots are nothing but the Purkinje fibers. So now let us understand the cells of the AV node. So cells of the AV node between the atria and ventricle, so we have discussed already. Now let us start a clinical condition, that is ischemic heart disease. So when there is an imbalance between the oxygen demand and oxygen supply, then it leads to ischemic heart disease, that is increase in oxygen demand and decrease in oxygen supply. Decrease in oxygen supply may be due to atherosclerosis and also due to platelet plaque. So ischemic heart disease is actually a group of disease. So ischemic heart disease is divided into angina pectoris, myocardial infarction, sudden cardiac death, and also chronic ischemic heart disease. So first one is angina pectoris. It is nothing but the central chest pain which is dull, diffuse, and it may be due to emotional conditions or walking against the cold wind and whenever we eat more food. And it is of shorter duration, and it is reversible, and it is having no any myocardial death or myocardial necrosis. And next comes the myocardial infarction, that is MI. It is severe, prolonged, and increase in the brain, and it is not relievable, and it is autonomic upset, that is autonomic nervous system is upset, that is emotional reaction, sweating in the cold weather, and also having tachycardia and tremors. Next we have the sudden cardiac death. It is causing ischemia, tachycardia, very large myocardial infarction, and failure of the cardiac pump. And chronic ischemic disease is nothing but repeated myocardial infarction, fibrotic mass is formed in the ventricle and leads to the cardiac failure. Now let us see the histology of large arteries, that is elastic. So aorta is the elastic artery which during systole the aorta need to stretch out, so that if it stretch out only it can accommodate the incoming blood, so that the blood pressure is maintained normal. And the ventricle diastole, during the ventricle diastole, the AV, that is aortic valve, should close and recoil the aorta, move the blood forward. So always blood flow through the aorta is continuous to the different parts of our arteries, mainly because of its recoiling nature, that is its elastic nature. And so same like as we discuss about histology of vessels, same like here also it has inner intima, middle media, and outer adventitia. And the outer adventitia contains mainly nutrient arteries known as vasa vasorum, and also lymphatic channels, and also there is nerve supply. And the vasa vasorum also continues up to the outer part of the media. Now let us see the structures. First we have same endothelial cells, basal lamina, subendothelial connective tissue. These together form the intima. And endothelial cells also produce a von Willebrand factor. Whenever there is a cancer in the von Willebrand factor, the antibodies are formed against it, so that we can confirm that it is an endothelial cancer. So intima we completed, and the elastic lamina, smooth muscle, elastic lamina, this process continues. So elastic artery is nothing but it is having elastic lamina, more elastic lamina alternating with the smooth muscle in its media. It is nothing but the elastic lamina. So 40 to 70 times this alternation can be seen. And there are multiple elastic lamina which are mainly fenestrated. Why fenestration? Because of the nutritional diffusion in the media. So in the media they alternate with the smooth muscle. So this is the histology of large arteries, that is elastic arteries. Now we know syphilis. Syphilis is nothing but caused by Treponema pallidum. It is of three types. The tertiary stage always occurs after many years of infection. That is mainly causing the aortic aneurysm, which is nothing but the abnormal dilation, which is syphilitic aneurysm. So there are lymphatic cells, plasma cells, which are accumulating around the vasa vasorum, and they produce growth factors. So this leads to the compression of the vasa vasorum and the perivascular cuffing. So this leads to the undersupply of the outer wall of the media and outer wall of adventitia, which leads to the weak wall, weakening of the wall, and the stretch out. So stretch out is nothing but that is dilatism. So chronic infection may lead to multiple scars, and the scars shrink and they lead to abnormal puckering and lead to even intima wrinkle. So intimal wrinkle appear like a tree bark appearance. Now let us see the muscular arteries, which are named arteries, also known as distributary arteries. So they also have endothelium, basal lamina, subendothelial connective tissue, elastic lamina, and also internal elastic lamina, which is prominent, and smooth muscle, which is a hallmark in the media. So remember, smooth muscle is a hallmark in the media, and also we have the external elastic lamina. So all the elastic laminas are prominent in the case of medium vessels, and it also has adventitia. So same like that. So sometimes what happens, elastic lamina in the media, it is abnormal because of connective tissue turnover disease, which is nothing but Marfan syndrome. So the blood may enter media by a tear and dissecting the aneurysm, and also known as dissecting aorta, and it also cause associated with the increase in the BP, that is hypertension. So let us see now capillaries. Capillaries are nothing but exchange vessels which are selectively permeable, which is having a lumen of capillary 8 to 10 millimeters, and length is less than 1 millimeter, and it is 50,000 miles when we see in the total body. So it has a basal lamina, it has the endothelial cells, it has desmin and vimentin, and also it has a pericyte. So these are the pericytes. So the nutrients get exchanged through this. So there are three types of capillaries mainly, that is a continuous capillaries, fenestrated capillaries, and sinusoidal capillaries. So first let us see continuous capillaries. They are nothing but having the zona occludens, which is where the whole cells are sticked with each other, and their endothelial cells are having tight junctions, that is zona occludens, and also the basal lamina is continuous. And many pinocytic vesicles for the transport of mainly substances. So these pinocytic vesicles are present within the endothelial cells for the transport, that is known as transcellular process, because it is taking place within the endothelium only. They are having holes, then it is known as transcellular. If between the endothelium cells the substances are transporting, then it is known as paracellular movement. So this continuous type of capillaries can be seen in a CNS, muscles, exocrine glands, and also lungs. So remember, in CNS there are no pinocytic vesicles, especially in the blood-brain barrier, which is a tight junction. So next we have the fenestrated capillaries. In fenestrated capillaries we are especially having the fascia occludens. It is nothing but is having only sticky ends at the upper and lower borders. It is not throughout sticky, but the zona occludens is throughout sticky with the adjacent endothelial cell. So the fenestrated capillaries are also known as porous capillaries. They are 7 to 10 micrometers, and their endothelial cells are having holes up to 70 nanometers, and they also have a diaphragm, and they are not having any pinocytic vesicles, whereas our continuous capillaries have a pinocytic vesicles. And the examples are in kidneys, the glomerular capillaries, endocrine, pancreas, and also GIT. But remember, in glomerular capillaries there is no diaphragm. So here the exception is glomerular capillaries without diaphragm. There the exception is CNS with no pinocytic vesicles. And next comes sinusoidal capillaries, which are very large, having very large fenestrations or holes, you can see, that is 30 to 40 mm, and the basal lamina is discontinuous. But in continuous capillaries, basal lamina is continuous. Here the basal lamina is discontinuous, and endothelial cells are loose, that is no zona occludens is present. And the substances can freely move in this because there are a lot of gaps. So you can see this in liver, spleen, and also bone marrow, lymph nodes, adrenal cortex, hypophysis cerebri, etc. So the substances passed by capillary are mainly by simple diffusion, active transport, fenestrations into endothelial gaps. You know, especially active transport for glucose, amino acids, and pinocytic vesicles are also present for the transport of larger substances, and also whenever the WBC transpose, then it is known as diapedesis. And next, let us see the metabolic functions. So lungs. In lungs, the angiotensin 1 is converted into angiotensin 2 by the angiotensin converting enzyme, and the catabolize, that is the endothelial cells catabolize the PGI2, prostaglandins, bradykinin, norepinephrine, etc. And the endothelial cells also take up the lipids, that is they convert into cholesterol and also fatty acids. And next, the PGI2, which doesn't allow to stick the platelets in a case of normal endothelium, healthy endothelium. And also endothelial cells release the nitric oxide, which leads to arterioles dilation, and also endothelin, which constrict the arterioles. So next we are going to see about the endothelium. Actually, endothelium can also produce anticoagulants, coagulation factors, antithrombotic substances, etc., which are all mainly useful for the control of the blood flow. And in the case of injured endothelium, it produces thromboxane A2 and increase the coagulation, that is by von Willebrand factors, etc. So whenever endothelium is injured, it needs to form a clot or platelet, so then coagulation cascade is activated. But in a normal endothelium, always the platelets should be non-sticky and no thrombosis should form in the case of normal endothelium. Now let us see a special type of channel known as thoroughfare channel. It is a central link between the arteries and veins. So we know capillaries. Capillaries are peripherally sticking one artery to the vein, that is forming a channel. But this is a central channel, that is the direct link between the artery and vein. This is known as the thoroughfare channel, where the arteriole form into, divide into meta-arteriole with less smooth muscles, and next the meta-arteriole into precapillary sphincter, and into capillaries, into venules, into small veins, into large veins. So this thoroughfare channel can also be said as AV shunt, that is arteriovenous shunt. That is in finger, skin, lip, more common. So in cold weather, what happens? We need to reserve the heat. So there is less blood vessels, that is smooth muscles relax and the blood shunt by the thoroughfare channel. That is less blood flow. So in the case of desert conditions, we want to lose the heat. So there we want increased blood flow, that is smooth muscles should constrict and the shunt closes, so directed to the capillaries. So we use this AV shunt mainly in a cold weather, where we need to open the shunt. And veins. So veins also have intima, media, adventitia like artery, but the difference is that adventitia is thickest in the case of veins, and in arteries the media is thickest. And the arteries are known as resistant because resistant vessels because they are resistant to blood flow, but the veins are known as capacitance vessels because they hold up to 70% of our blood. So no internal elastic lamina is found in the veins, and thin wall, they are having large lumen and they are easily collapsible. And the leg veins are against the gravity, so they need walls. Walls are present to prevent the falling back. And large veins are same as arteries because their media also contains smooth muscles, and their adventitia contain mainly longitudinal smooth muscle, and they extend up to the myocardium. And next, medium size veins are 9 to 10 millimeter, and there are no longitudinal smooth muscle. They are not having longitudinal smooth muscle in the adventitia, and the venules are not having any media, prominent media, and the veins dilate, that is irreversible, then it is known as varicose veins. And also they leads to the valve, mainly the varicose vein due to the valve failure. And the arterioles also have intima, smooth muscle, but no elastic lamina. And the meta-arterioles have intima, only few smooth muscle. And the thoroughfare channel along with the capillaries is known as microcirculatory unit. And the endothelium is mainly simple squamous epithelium, and the transitional myocytes are present in AV node, and the nodal myocytes are mainly present in the AV and SA node. And the ANS is, that is autonomic nervous system, is mainly having unmyelinated sympathetic nerves. So this is all about cardiovascular histology.